Hello everyone. In today's session, we are going to create a website using HTML and CSS. We will be creating a website that you currently seeing on my screen. We will be having a navigation bar where we show the website name and few navigation links, and we'll be having search box with search button next to it. And in the left side of main section, we show some information about what this website is about, and on the right side we'll be having a login form where user can provide his username and password and login. And if user doesn't have an account, he can click on this sign up link and create an account. And also we provide the options to log in using the social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and Google. And at the end we'll be implementing very nice feature of changing the background of this website just by clicking these color square boxes. So I'll be explaining everything step by step, and even if you are not very good with HTML and CSS, that is completely fine. So let's get started. I have created a folder called HTML CSS website on my desktop. Let's open it and shift right click, open command window here. Let's open Visual Studio Code from this folder. So code space dot. It will launch Visual Studio Code with our folder HTML CSS website. So once the Visual Studio Code launched, now let's create the markup. So for that, let us create the HTML page. So just click on this new file symbol, and I am going to name it as index.html. You can give any name. And to create the HTML skeleton, we can just press exclamation symbol, and Visual Studio Code give us the M8 abbreviation. Just press enter, so it will create the skeleton for us. We no need to manually write all this code. Whenever you are going to work on any task or website or web application, anything, it is always good to divide your work. So here we have the header with the navigation bar, and the main section with the two sections like left section and right section, right? So now let us create header and main section. So inside the body, let's create the header first, and then for next line just press Ctrl Enter, then main. The header part is having three sections. First section where we are going to show the website name, second section where we are going to show these navigation links, and third section is this search bar section. So let's create them. Inside the header, first let us create the navigation container. So, and inside that to logo, another list with CSS class menu, and finally we are going to create the section for search. Cool. Now we have created three sections. So here just name it as CodeWellTech. Inside the menu, let us have our list items. So we need 5 list items. So li multiply by 5, just press enter. It is going to create the 5 list items. I am going to quickly write the names of them. Services. So in the search section, we should have the search box and the button. Let us have the input, type text, and then button. So say search. So now let us run our HTML page and see how it is coming up. So right click and open with the live server. So I am using the extension called live server. So to install it, just go to the extensions. You can press Ctrl Shift X, or even you can just click on this view and click on this extensions. So here search for live server. So select the first one and just install it. So I have already installed it. Ctrl Shift E to see the explorer. Why we need live server? Because whenever we make the changes, we no need to refresh this browser every time. So right click and open with live server. We have our header section. Now go to the main section, and again the main section is containing the two sections like left side and right side, right? Let's create the container, and inside the container we are going to have the left section plus right section. So this will create two adjacent div elements with the CSS class left and right. Press enter, and left side let us have some information. So I'm going to have a box. I'm going to have some random text. So should be not lorem, cool. We are going to have the login form, right? Right side also we are going to have a box. Here I am going to create the form. Let's keep this like this. So you can't imagine HTML without CSS, right? So now let's style our website using CSS. Go to Visual Studio Code, create CSS file. I am going to name it as style.css. We need to refer this style.css in HTML page. To refer any external CSS, we can simply use the link tag. Whenever you type the link tag, we automatically get this rel style sheet and href. So href is the where we are going to set the path style.css. Go to the style.css. So as a first step, let us do the resetting of margin and padding for all the elements. Whenever you want to write the CSS that should be applicable to all the elements in the HTML, then you can use this star symbol. Margin 0, then padding 0 and box sizing border box. Now you may get the doubt why we need to reset this margin and padding. So go to index.html. So here I am going to have a header element, so like a h1. So this is for just testing purpose, testing margin and padding. Now let us go to our page. You can see here testing margin and padding. These are starting just from our document, right? So there is no space. Now go to style.css, Control A, Control KC to comment the code. So save it. Now go to our page. There we go. Now here you can see that some gap is there, right? Earlier we didn't have any gap. In top also, now we have gap. So in order to calculate the height and width properly, it is always good to have margin and padding 0 for all the elements. Control KU for uncomment. So now let us write the CSS for body. So body and height, we are going to have 100 viewport height, and width we are going to have 100 viewport width. Background, we are going to have the background image, right? I have already downloaded some images from the internet. Cut it, paste it in our website folder. URL, just give the path of the image. So you don't need to write completely, just control space, it will give us the auto intelligence. Then copy.jpg, background size, cover, there we go. Now we have our image loaded. Header, so just define the header. So I am going to use this split option so that we can see HTML and CSS simultaneously, and that will be very good. Header, and let's give some height, give 80 pixel, and background color, transparent background color, and then color as FFF. So it is equivalent to white color. So remember this color code. You will be using this very often when you are working on website or any front-end applications. Header, hover, and I'm going to have some box shadow, 0 pixel, and 15 pixel, and some 2 pixel. We're going to have some black color. Save it. Now let's go to our page. There we go. We can see that effect, right? We can have some transition though, so that we can see it very smoothly. So transition, all 300 milliseconds, is in out. Cool. See, now we can see that hover effect very smoothly. So this is the power of transition. And then let's define our navigation. Still we can't see our application logo, navigation links and search box in the same line, right? So we should see like this, right, in the same line. So for that, so navigation, and let's have the height inherit. So which means, so this navigation element is the direct child of this header. So whenever we use inherit value, it will take its header's height, which means parent height it will take. And then here we're going to have the display flex. So what display flex will do? So it will arrange all its direct elements in the row direction. So by default flex direction is row. So now we go there. Here CodeWellTech, and another list is again having some inner elements. That's the reason we don't see them in the same line. And to give some space between these elements, we can use the justify content. So justify content space between. We can see the space between these items. Let us style our logo. So logo, font size 1.5 rem, text align center, font weight. So then menu, we want menu items in the same line. So for that again we can use the display flex to show all the divs in a row. So justify content space around. Now let us define this list item, ul dot menu space li. So whenever we write like this, so it is going to apply the style to the list items which are part of this another list where we have the CSS class menu. It is very common to have more than one another list with list items in websites because we'll be having the more than one menu, right? So that's why it is good practice to write like this. As a first step, let us get rid of these bullet points. You can simply say list style none, font size 1.3 rem, padding so some 20 pixel and 10 pixel. We want all these in uppercase, right? Here you can see that all the letters are in uppercase. To show the letters in uppercase, we can use the text transform property. So text hyphen, so uppercase. There we go. So we are having everything in uppercase. Cursor pointer, and let us have some border also. So border bottom 2 pixel solid and as FFF, and let us have some transition too. So transition all 300 millisecond and ease in out. We don't have any gap between these items, and by default we should not have any border actually. So some transparent color, okay, and on hover we need to show the color. So just take this entire thing and dot hover, and on hover form, and we are going to use the scale 1.1, so it gives some zoom in effect. Border color, so we are going to only change the border color as FFF. Now let's go there, and now we can see that only selected item will be zoomed in, and now we can see the border also, right? So let's come here and define search. I am going to use the display flex and align items center. So padding 8 pixel 5 pixel, so it is coming up like this, right? So whenever you click on it, you can see that some rounded corners, we don't want that. Outline, simply say none. So whenever you just focus inside this, you can't see the cursor color. So let's define the caret color as FFF. Now you can see that color, right? Cool. And now let us define the button too. Button, actually I am going to apply the CSS class for this button. Where is our button? Here. So class button, so let's write for the button have some background color blue color, outline don't want any outline, and even border also we don't want any border. Give some padding 10 pixel, and then color let us give as FFF. We are going to have the font weight, so font weight 500. Cool. So we need to save our index.html. So because we have applied the button CSS, forgot this dot, right? Dot button. There we go. Now we have these two the same line, right? Font size 1 rem, letter spacing 1 pixel. We can see that we don't have the proper spacing between these three elements, right? The total width is 100%, so now we can divide them. So our logo, I can give, this is flex item, so flex 2, and for the menu I am going to give flex 6 2 6 8, and remaining 2, so because total 10, so remaining 2 we are going to use for this search box. So flex 2, save it. Now let's go and see. There we go. I think here we have more actually. Maybe we can make it is 3, and we can make it is as some 5, and we can make this logo as 2, and 1 can be shrink, and then we can give some 50 pixel as a base width. So now we have width properly, but we don't see these three sections appearing in the same line, right? So they are not center aligned vertically. So let's go to our navigation CSS class. So like justify content, just align items center. We can see them in the same line, right? All three are in the same line. So now let us use the Google Fonts. So go to Google Fonts, there search for pop-ins, just select it, and here we have various styles. So let's say we select this style, click on the import here and just select this entire thing. Go to our style.css, go to the top, just use it. Just take the font family, Poppins and Serif. We are going to apply for whole part, so we can simply use it here. Save it. Now go to our application. There we go. Now we have the font Poppins is applied. So now let us style our body thing, and also we need to create the login form. Here just create a container and display flex, justify content, space around. We have the left section and the right section. So I'm going to give the 60% width for left and 40% for the right section. Left, and left is the direct child of container, so we can use the flex 6 and then right say flex 4. Cool. I just give some color, so color as FFF. Now we can see the color, right? And now let us create the some form on the right side. We are going to have the form group, so form group, and inside the form group, so I am going to have the input, so input text, and let's have some placeholder, so user name, save it, and the same way let us copy this and use here. This time we are going to have password, and type should be password, as we are going to use it for password. Add CSS class for form, saying that form -login. We are going to have one more form group because we need to have the button, right? So that login button we are going to have, so button dot button, and maybe class we can use the button here again, and this time say login. Okay, username, password, everything. So for username we have the style, but password we don't have, so I would like to use the same style for the password too. So go to our input type text and take this, and whenever we want to write the style for more than one element or more than one selector, you can just give the comma and use it, and here simply say password. So now we are using this code for the two CSS selectors, right? Now if we go on password, you can see the same thing. Here we don't have the placeholder. Let's have the placeholder search, search. Let us write some CSS for the placeholder also. For placeholder input, and just simply say type, and here just use font size 0.9 rem, padding 8 pixel, 5 pixel, color like SFF, but we don't want this white color completely. Let's give some dark color. Transition all 0.300 millisecond is in out. That's it. Let's go and see how it is coming up. There we go. So now we have the color, everything applied. So whenever we focus on it, I would like to decrease the font size of this placeholder text. So take this entire thing, and here instead of placeholder, let's use the focus here. So focus and double colon. Whenever you are writing for these pseudo classes like this, then we need to use this dot focus first. So we are going to reduce the font size whenever we just focus on the text box, right? So font size, let's have 0.7 rem. Cool. Now let's go to our page. See, now search, we can see that placeholder font size is getting reduced. So button by default is not having the cursor pointer, and also it is somewhat dull color, right? So whenever we hover on it, we would like to have the some bright color. Button and on hover, so background, and let's have some bright color like this. So now whenever we just hover on it, you can see that, and again we can simply have the transition here. We can have the CSS variables, but I will be explaining in some other time like how to use it. In the container we have the justify content, and let us have some align items center. So even though we have applied align item center, so we don't see them center aligned vertically. So total height is 100 VH. Our header takes the 80 pixel. Remember, we have defined header with 80 pixel. We need to minus the 80 pixel height of this header from this entire 100 VH. Then the result height we should assign to the main container. Go to the main. Let's have height, calculate 100 VH, then give space, minus, then again give space, otherwise it won't work. So this spacing is very important here. So we are going to say 80 pixel. Our container should inherit the height from the main. So inherit Now go and see, there we go. Our content is center of the screen. Let's have some padding here also. Padding 50 pixel left, comma right. So these are going to have some common CSS, that is padding some 40 pixel, and then we need to define the box. We have some padding left side and right side everywhere. So now 40 pixel and 20 pixel, and then 2 pixel solid, and we're going to have some transparent background color, no dark color. We're going to have border radius 10 pixel. We have done with that, and let's go and see how it is coming up. And we can have some backdrop filter, let's say blur of 10 pixel. Now if we go and see, we can see some blur effect, right? And even we can have some even darker color for this. Maybe we can reduce this to 5 pixel so that you can see the background, right? So this is how we can apply the blur effect also. Left side box, and I'm going to have some height, let's say 400 pixel, and width we are going to have 700 pixel. Our left side box will be looking like this. So cool, right? Now here left and right, you can simply say align self, flex start. Cool. Now both are starting from the top. I'm going to create the 3 divs. So div multiply by 3. Div we are going to have LAN, and the second div we should have web and API. So, and third one development, right? And use it here, development. And here I'm going to apply the class text medium. So I'm going to define the CSS classes, and then class text, and let us have this entire thing in another div. So div, keep it like this. Here we need to have some horizontal line HR. So here text medium, and so we are going to have some font size 1 point, okay, so some 3 rem. So and the same way font size 2 rem, and let's make it 1.5 rem, and this one should be dot text bigger, and we are having 2 rem. Now let's go and check how it is coming up. LAN, web API and development. I think this is even bigger, right? So we want more font. Maybe let's me apply here 2 rem, and this one 2.5 rem. And color lime color I am going to use. So now if you just go and refresh, there we go. And let us give some font weight also here. So font hyphen weight 600 HR, and width we are going to have 80%, and height some 3 pixel. Border radius, so we are going to have some 5 pixel. Border none. Background, and now let's go here margin bottom, we are going to say 10 pixel. We need to style our this right side form. So we have the form login CSS class applied right here. So just use form hyphen login. So it is going to take the 100%, and let's have some padding 10 pixel and 30 pixel. Now here just define our form hyphen login. So we are going to style our input boxes like input and password. We are going to style only the text boxes that are inside the form login, right? So form login. So here first of all we don't want any border, so border none, but we are going to have the border bottom. So border hyphen bottom, so we are going to have 1 pixel solid and this one, and let's take width 97%. There we go. Now we have it. And here what I'm going to do, I'm going to give some margin top for all the elements inside the form login. So form login whatever the CSS we write, that is applicable to all the direct children of this form login. So here I say margin top 10 pixel. Now if we save it, we can see margin top applied for all this. We are going to have one more CSS class applied for this button login. So I say button hyphen login. So let's define here button hyphen login, and let's have width 100%. So margin bottom 10 pixel. So already we have the margin top, right, because this is direct children of this form login. So now username, password, and we have login. Cursor pointer, let's go here. Now whenever we just focus in, we would like to change this border color of border bottom color, and also we would like to increase the width of this text box by 100%, right? Whenever we just focus, we are going to have width 100%, and border bottom we are going to have same thing, maybe color only we need to change. So take this, and instead of border color you mention. So form login, here you can give transition all, so 300 milliseconds is in out. Now let's go. Now you can see that, right? So it is increasing the width, and you can see the same thing here. After this form, we are going to have the one div with the text don't have an account. So don't, and inside that we are going to have the anchor link. This anchor link like href as sign up, and give the text, sorry, a sign up. Now we are going to have one more div login with, and after that we are going to have the div for social media icon, social media, and inside that we are going to have the images, right? So image, as I said, I have already downloaded the images. I say first one, so images slash fb.svg. so we are going to use the svg, so alternative text. So we need to use the alt text. So now here we have that our image, right? I just remove this extension, so it is invalid path now. So now you don't see, but you can see the text saying that Facebook, right? So this is very useful. So you need to always use the alt text. So just Ctrl Z and save it. Now you should see the Facebook icon. So similarly you can have the icons for Instagram, Twitter, Google. So where we can download all this, so you can go to icons8.com, and here you can simply search for the icons like Facebook. If you type, and it will give icons, right? You can select any icon that you like, and you can simply download it. So while downloading, you can choose the type like svg or png, and size also you can choose, not social media. And let's have some height 50 pixel and padding 5 pixel, margin top 10 pixel. Cool. And before that, let us style this also. Sign up, we don't have any color. Anchor text decoration, I'm not going, none, so we don't want anything. And color, so I'm going to use the color that we used for this, like web API text. So just copy this and just use it here. Cool. Now let's go here, and you can see that sign up. When you click on the sign up, you can see that this hash sign up is adding because we have added the href. Now we need to center align all this, right? So go to the right side box, and this should be right, actually this should be height, sorry for that, height 400 pixel, and then display flex, and then we're going to have the display flex. So when you use the display flex, what will happen? So all the items will be like this, right? So this is not what we wanted. So we want flex direction should be column. Cool, right? So when you use the column, that is cool. So when you use the flex direction column, we can use the align items as center. So now we can see everything is middle, right? And let us have some space between these, okay. And also we can't see sign up now, we can't see, right? So we don't have that now here, so it is missed it actually, sign up now. And then so for that what we can do, we can simply say social media and star margin left 10 pixel, social media and image, then say height 100 percentage. As of now we are not able to see them, right? So they are with some black color, so filter invert and give the value 0.7 or 0.8. Now we can see them, right? So but they are not completely bright, right? Because we have used invert 0.8. when you use invert 1, they completely have the light color. So we are going to do that whenever we just hold on it. So we are going to have the transition now, and as usual all 300 millisecond and ease in out. Cool. Now we are going to have one more property called transform scale. So by default we are going to have the 100% zoom, but whenever we just hover on this image, just take this and just simply say here hover, and whenever we just hover on it, I am going to transform to 1.1, little bit zoom, and this filter we are going to apply 1. So invert 1, save it. Now come here, there we go. Now we can see that zoom in effect, right? So whenever you apply 100%, you can see them. And also let's give some cursor. Cool. Now it looks cool, right? So now we are done with almost everything. So now I think this container is having, so container doesn't have padding, whereas we have defined the padding on our container. So I am going to remove it, container, and we're going to have the flex 7 for the first one, and our button is having the one rem, right, font size. Let us apply same to our search box too. So let's go to our search box, font size 1 rem, and that should fix our issue. There we go. Now we don't see anything like error message, like if you don't enter any data, at least show some messages, right? Apply required attribute to this, so form required, and the same way password required, click on login, there we go. Now it shows that required field, let's say Krish, and form login, color say ash fff. Cool. Now click on it without typing it, you can see that fill out this field, and also we can give that minimum length also, right? For this min length, for min length, like a minimum characters he has to enter, let's say 5. So now let's come here and just type 3 letters and just click on it. Here you can see that please lengthen this text to 4 characters or more. It is always good to have some basic validation. So now we remained with changing the background of this website dynamically. So for that I am going to create the 3 square boxes. Make our main container as a position relative. So why we need to make this position relative? Thus I will explain you now. After the container, I am going to create a div with the CSS class bg select. So background select, CSS class applied. So bg select. Inside that, so create 3 divs with the CSS class bg hyphen option and multiply by 3. Now first one I am going to have bg gray color, bg hyphen green, and this one green one. Now we need to show this section at the bottom of the screen, right? So for that we need to make this item as position absolute, and let's have some height 20 pixel. We want to have width of 100 pixel, display flex because we want all items should be in the row, bg option 20 pixel and width 20 pixel. Here I give bg gray color, so background color gray, background color I say gray, define the bg green one and bg green 2. So here I say green. Cool. Now let's go to our site. There we go. Now we have here, right, and also just give them space between them. So justify content space between, so we need to place them here. So for that reason we used the absolute position, but the parent of this b select should be relative. So the parent of this b select is main, so go to the main and make it position relative. So here you can simply say left, I want 48% from the left, and bottom I want 5% from the bottom. So now let's go and see. There we go. Maybe you can change these colors, so we can make this even darker, this not be gray, and maybe this one can be more brighter. Now we need to change the background color, right? So for this I am going to use very little bit JavaScript. So don't worry if you are not aware of JavaScript. So we are not going to write too much JavaScript. So here we are going to write before end of the body tag. So script, and inside the script tags we can write the JavaScript, right? First I am going to create one JavaScript object with all the images paths. So like image URLs equal to, and default, like we are going to have some key called default. You can give any name. We can simply select these, and the default image we are having this one, right? URL of images slash. So here we need to just give the relative path. So dot slash, like this you have to give, and take this and just comma. If it is green one, apply green one image. So I have the image name also green one. So if we go here, I have green one, green two, everything. So take this and comma, and if it is green 2, then image name green 2. Cool. Now here I am going to write a simple JavaScript function. So change background, and it accepts the color. So what kind of color you want, like if it is green, deep green one or green 2 or default. And here we say document dot body dot, so each element will have the style object, right? So style dot background equal to, we are going to use this image URLs of color. So if color is default, then it will assign this image. If color is green one, it will assign this image. So it will take image URLs of color, right? So after that what are we going to do, document dot, so same body dot style dot background dot, so size we need to mention, size equal to, we say cover. So what if you don't say this one, cover? So just comment this line and see what will happen. Now we need to call this change background whenever we click on these, right? So here just simply on click. So how we call the function, just use the function name, and simply here just pass, I say default. So this is default color, so simply we are passing this one, and whenever we click on the second one we are going to pass green one, right? Green one. Same way for this one, green 2. So this should be green, right? So okay, let's make it green, yeah. So green 1 and green 2. Here semicolon, so remove this semicolon, cursor pointer. Cool. Now let's come here and this time click on it. There we go. But you see some jerk, right? And also we can see that our image, right, this background image is not proper, right? So and also we don't see any smooth transition when we changing the background. So go to body, all, and 300 millisecond is in out, and also this background size property should be background, this should be background. Cool, cover. Now let's go here and click on green. There we go. Now we can see that everything is fitting in properly and we can see everything works properly. So this is all about how we can create a website using HTML and CSS. If you find it helpful, please hit the like button, and also please do subscribe to my channel for latest videos. Thank you for watching.